How's it going, guys? So, Laughing Man here today. This week on Let's Hang Out, I wanted to hang out with you guys and talk about a scene in the Tale of the Super Specs episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? So this episode is I guess it's one of the more well-known ones for being particularly scary. Just the fact that this girl in the video or the episode puts on these specs, if you will, and she sees into another dimension, as Mr. Sardo states. But what's cool about this episode is that like on my journey in like filmmaking right now, you know, just pretty much just dipping my toes into the water, so to speak. But I'm starting, as I'm like watching movies, watching shows, all that stuff, I'm starting to notice a little bit more about like my whole thing has been about pacing. Basically, you can speed up the pacing of a movie or a short film or anything, or an episode or whatever, by increasing the amount of cuts, the amount of like camera angles, or just a different like setup that you have in like any shot or whatever. So I was watching this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and this probably was the first time where it really hammered home to me the idea of pacing in a movie. What you're about to see and what I want to walk you guys through to sort of like explain my thought process of this, is like an extended take. It's like this scene is about like 5 minutes out of like with commercials and all that, like a 20-minute episode. So that's easily like a quarter of an episode dedicated to this one scene that you're about to watch right here. Which is significant because it, like, not necessarily to say that it slows down the episode, but it really draws you in. Like, it adds, it builds up the suspense and all that. The atmosphere of it really shows why, like, this is consistently rated as one of the scariest episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark. Just a quick disclaimer, this is just like an amateur filmmaker's like perspective on like pacing and filmmaking and whatnot. This is just something I noticed when I was watching this episode. It just hammered in like, oh man, this is like this slowed down the episode, but in a way that like drew my attention and like really focused me in on like the weirdness of the situation. And it made me sort of feel the absurdity of the situation, like the character would be going through. So that's a lesson I've learned, and I definitely can't wait to use it. So without further ado, here is this scene, which takes place. I forget the characters' names. It doesn't really matter. But this girl, she goes home. She just dropped off the specs, she thought, at the magician's store, but she went home and she gets a surprise. So just to walk you through, it's like again like about a 4 or 5 minute clip. So hi guys, me and a purring kitten are here to tell you that there was a clip here and it's gone now. The clip I was going to show you from Are You Afraid of the Dark was claimed by Viacom. It was monetized by them and it was blocked in one country, that country being the United States. So needless to say, you are watching a re-upload of basically, instead of the clip, it's just going to be still images, and I'm just going to, like what I did in the original videos, I had like commentary over the actual video, the actual scene, but I'm still going to have my original commentary in there, but it's just going to be over photos, and it's just going to be the parts where I talk. So I apologize for how weird this may or may not be or whatever, but this is where we're at. This is the only way I'm going to avoid the copyright claims. So yeah. So here we go. So it starts off with a nice like little, I guess, dolly shot of not really dolly, but of the fireplace. But again, you're going to notice not too many too many cuts. So here she noticed the specs reappeared in her bag after she thought that she dropped them off at the magician's store. And as Sardo says, she's seeing into another dimension. So this is where I first started to notice like the this extended take. Just that they're just spending so much time with her, like sort of filling out this situation, which is pretty cool. She's gonna see. She sees the fire here when there's clearly not a fire. I forget what this angle is called, but it's a specific kind of. There's a specific term for it. I forget what it is. And her this first person perspective is all like handheld. Obviously not like a dolly or anything. Just because you can see like the shakiness of it. Yeah, then this like creepy reveal of like what's in her, I'm assuming her bedroom. You got this woman that's been following her all over town. So that was it. Again, it's just a really good, I guess, like lesson for any amateur, I guess, filmmaker, any aspiring filmmaker who's trying to make it or learn the process, learn the idea of pacing. You can slow a movie down with these extended takes, or you can speed it up with increasing the amount of like camera angles, the amount of cuts, really to control the pacing of your movie, your project. So yeah, that's always been like a question I've had even before I've started filmmaking and whatnot, was when people say like, oh, this movie felt so long, or oh, that movie, those 2 hours flew by. I was always like how, like what gives people that impression? What gives audiences that impression? And I feel like I'm starting to get an idea of how to give, how to manipulate an audience's sense of time. And so I thought this was a pretty cool little like glimpse into that, into the idea behind that, or into the reason why people feel that way, their perception of time and all that. So yeah, it was fun hanging out with you guys. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.